So while creating my list of favorite moments from Tartakovsky's Clone Wars, I figured it'd be fitting to do a similar list for TCW. This will serve to highlight some of the few good moments throughout the show and demonstrate that even the worst pieces of Star Wars media have something good to offer. So kicking off the list, I have Dooku, Anakin, and Kenobi's attempted escape from the pirates in Season 1, Episode 12, The Gungan General.
You should be more patient, Master. After all, the Count is an elderly gentleman and doesn't move like he used to.
I suppose you're right.
I would kill you both right now if I did not have to drag your body.
Watching these three squabble yet ultimately overcome their differences in order to work together is a rare treat. It also serves to highlight Obi-Wan's compassion through his refusal to leave his nemesis behind, despite the fact that this decision leads to their recapture by Hondo and his gang. Next up is Papanoida's badassery in Season 3, Episode 4, Sphere of Influence. After showing off his detective skills in the search for his daughter's kidnappers, Papanoida displays his most impressive qualities during the bar shootout. This scene was so out of left field, but a pleasant surprise nonetheless. But that's not all this episode had to offer. Seeing Chuchi corner and blackmail the Trade Federation was so satisfying, especially after how passive she had been in her previous appearance on the show.
I understand your position, but I doubt the rest of the Senate will.
Blackmail!
No. Business.
Next up is Anakin and Tarkin's discussion on the Jedi in Season 3, Episode 19, Counterattack. This is easily some of the most interesting dialogue in the entire show, with both Anakin and Tarkin spitting straight facts.
You lack faith in the Jedi.
I find their tactics ineffective. The Jedi Code prevents them from going far enough to achieve victory, to do whatever it takes to win. The very reason why peacekeepers should not be leading a war. Have I offended you?
No. I've also found that we sometimes fall short of victory because of our methods.
Well, I see we agree on something.
Going back to Season 1, specifically Episode 9, Cloak of Darkness, we have Luminara positively roasting Ventress. When she can't fight with her weapon, she fights with her words. It's a great moment for an otherwise mishandled and underappreciated character.
Even with my vision clouded, I recognize the fighting style of Count Dooku. Your version is unrefined, amateurish, sloppy.
Jumping back to Season 3, we have Kenobi and Quinlan Vos versus Cad Bane in Episode 9, Hunt for Zero. We rarely get bounty hunter versus Jedi fights in this show, and this is easily the best. Plus, seeing characters be competent in any way throughout TCW is also a pretty rare find. So getting to see Bane hold his own against two incredibly skilled Jedi makes his title of Jedi Killer seem a lot more plausible. Not to mention just how epic this fight is overall. Bane implements almost his entire arsenal and even snatches a Jedi's lightsaber and uses it in combat. Total badass. Next up is Maul and Savage versus Sidious in Season 5, Episode 16, The Lawless. As gut-wrenching as it is to see Savage mercilessly killed and Maul reduced to begging for his life, it is undeniably awesome seeing Sidious dual-wielding like a boss and just running circles around his opponents. But speaking of Maul, the scene from Season 7 where he's positively decimating the clones is one of the only ones in the entire show where the writers allow an unarmed Force user to be an absolute powerhouse. Like really, where was this for the majority of the series? Force users do not need their lightsabers to be powerful. Like, come on! On a less violent note, Padme's speech from Season 3, Episode 11, Pursuit of Peace, is truly iconic. Seriously, just listen to this.
Tekla is one of my aides. Like so many of the people that we tell ourselves we're here to serve, Tekla lives in a district that rarely has electricity and running water as a result of the war. Her children can now only bathe every 2 weeks, and they have no light in which to read or study at night. The Republic has always funded these basic services, but now there are those who would divert the money to the war, with no thought for what the people need to survive. If not for people like Tekla and her children, who are we fighting for? My people. Your people. All of our people. This war is meant to save them from suffering, not increase it. I support our brave soldiers, whether they come from the clone factories or from any of the thousands of systems loyal to the Republic. But if we continue to impoverish our people, it is not on the battlefield where Dooku will defeat us, but in our own homes. Therefore, it is our duty and our responsibility to preserve the lives of those around us by defeating this bill.
Another speech in this show that I consider exceptional is Mirage Sintel's assessment of Obi-Wan's character in Season 4, Episode 13, Escape from Kadabo. It once again highlights Obi-Wan's compassion, revealing the fact that it'll be his inability to help others that will ultimately break this Jedi Master.
Kenobi is coming to realize that his efforts to help others will only injure them. The gnawing fear that he will never be able to take action will grow in Kenobi's heart. When Kenobi realizes he cannot help those around him, his spirit will break.
And then we have Hondo, pretty much every time he's on screen. This pirate's easygoing attitude and obsession with profit makes him so entertaining to watch, as you're never quite sure what his next move will be. Plus, he's probably one of the most quotable characters in the show.
This effort is no longer profitable! Insolence! We are pirates! We don't even know what that means!
Next up, a moment from Season 4, Episode 7, Darkness on Umbara, that I personally consider underrated, is when Rex challenges Krell's authority for the first time.
I followed your orders, even in the face of a plan that was, in my opinion, severely flawed. A plan that cost us men, not clones. Men.
This whole arc is one that beautifully showcases Rex's character, as it forces him to choose between his respect for authority and his loyalty to his men, and perfectly displays the qualities that make Rex a great leader. And speaking of the clones, next up we have Five's death in Season 6, Episode 4, Orders. A heartbreaking scene that shows just how far Fives was willing to go to uncover the truth, as well as how far Sidious and the Kaminoans were willing to go in order to cover up the contingency plan known as Order 66. And we're back to Season 3 with the awe-inspiring scene from Episode 15, Overlords, where Anakin single-handedly subdues the daughter and son. This moment is absolutely visually stunning and lends considerable weight to the title of Chosen One. Then we have Ventress in Season 3, Episode 13, Monsters. This episode is the only one where we get to see Ventress fight extensively without the aid of her lightsabers, and it's fascinating to watch her easily outmaneuver her opponents and elude their senses. For our honorable mentions, we have Obi-Wan's iconic sass, the laughable antics of the B-1s, Plo Koon being a shining example as both a leader and a Jedi, and Ayla's heroics on Meriden. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future content. I'm your Alibi, and I will see you next time. Seeing Chuchi corner and blackmail the... Mal? Seeing Chucher... What the fuck? This seems like an off day. Yeah, this is an off day. And perfectly displays the qualities that make Greg... Who is Greg? Who is Greg? To all those who stuck around for the end, this is the moment you've been waiting for. The single greatest moment in the Clone Wars is when Ahsoka dies.